Hey everybody, it's Chef Todd Moore. It's production Saturday again, and I like taking the opportunity that while I'm cooking or doing something, that we can always get together and I can share with you what's in my head. And what's in my head today in our Carefree Cook-Along was the mantra, from round to plank, from plank to stick, from stick to cube. And I walked around my house this morning saying, from round to plank, from plank to stick, from stick to cube. And we used to say this in culinary school all the time and be like I was a little chorus leader, like I could tap, 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 tap on the music thing. Boys and girls, here we go. From round to plank, from plank to stick, from stick to cube, because this is the mantra that we talk about when we try and consistently cut our items. And you know, I really haven't talked about knife skills in a while, and I thought that this would take an opportunity because in my head today has been from round to plank, from plank to stick, from stick to cube. It's going to be in your head by the end of the day also, because it goes something like this: from round to plank, from plank to stick to cube. So now we've talked about this in the past, that consistency of cut is consistency of cook. It's another mantra that we talk about in culinary school. Throw that one in there as well. Consistency of cut is consistency of cook. And what we mean by this is if you have items that are all the same sizes in your dish, then all the items cook at the same rate as well. If you have one item that's really big and one item that's really small, this will be hard and crunchy, this will be soft and mushy. That's the idea behind consistency of cut is consistency of cook. I got one more mantra for you, and that's consistency of cut is consistency of look. So the things that are cut consistently, they look great. They look like they were done with skill. They look like they were done artistically, and they speak to you in that way. Like, wow, it looks like somebody took some care in making this. So we put all these little mantras together, from round to plank, from plank to stick, from stick to cube. Consistency of cut is consistency of cook. Consistency of cut is consistency of look. And you put all those things together and it comes down to my cutting board over here, because I'm going to do a stew today. Stew is a great thing that you can make ahead of time and then freeze. I'm going to make a salsa a little bit later, so I'm going to do my prep today and wanted to invite you along and show you exactly how from round to plank, from plank to stick to cube works for you. So let's go to the cutting board back here and I'll tell you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so I've got 2 carrots that I'm going to demonstrate this on. I did not peel the carrots. I generally wash my carrots. I don't peel them because I know I'm going to get emails. Oh my goodness, you didn't peel your carrots. No, I wash them and I scrub them with a brush. So using my beloved Esmeralda that I got in Toledo, Spain. I love the sound of that. Listen to that. Has anyone ever bought a knife for the way it sounds? That's the way I like it. All right, and of course with my correct grip, I'm not going to hold the knife like a club because potentially it can spin in my hand. I'm going to pinch it between thumb and forefinger and put my other fingers around the blade. All right, with a tip fulcrum method, let's take the end off the carrot there. These are a little too thin for now, and I'm going to cut that carrot in a manageable 2-inch or so stick. So a round item is potentially dangerous. You really don't want to cut with a round item. Whenever you can, you want to give yourself a flat surface to work off. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut a plank out of that carrot, and now this is a much more stable item for me to cut with. From round to plank, I'll go ahead and make my planks of a consistent thickness. Look at this. This is not bad. Look at that. About the same. I've got a little bowing on there, in other words, thinner at this end. See this cut here? Thinner at this end and wider at this end. This is something I would take a few points off in culinary school. But nonetheless, from round to plank, I'm going to line all my planks up. From plank to stick. Boom. Boom. All right, and now I've got my consistently cut sticks. Let's stand them up and see how Chef did. Not bad. Oh, that one's really bad. that one's pointy, all right? See, that's what we don't want when we talk about consistency. But this one, that one, that one, that one, they all look pretty good. From round to plank, from plank to stick. Let's line all the sticks up with our knife tip fulcrum method, kung fu grip on my left side, and from stick to cube in that regard. Again, brush down the knife. If you are compelled to brush your finger along the knife, please don't do it. We talked about this a week or so ago. Please don't do it down the length of the knife, because that's how you cut yourself. If you're dying to put your finger on your knife, brush it down the blade like that. You won't cut yourself, all right? So there you go. There's from round to plank, from plank to stick, from stick to cube. And I can do this with a lot of items. So I told you I was going to work on a salsa today. Here's a nice Roma tomato that I have. Just to give you another knife, here's my paring knife. This is one of my favorites. We call this a duck bill or a bird's beak paring knife. I love the little hook in the end of it. But my grip is going to be the paring knife, settling it in the knuckle of my hand and setting my finger as a depth gauge to be able to plunge the knife into the top of the tomato, work the knife around, and just core it, boink, that way using the paring knife. Then back to the big boy, the chef's knife. I'm going to cut the tomato in half. I don't want any seeds or that white pulp in my salsa. Back to the paring knife, choke grip, depth gauge with my thumb so I don't cut through it, and I take that core right out, and with the back of the knife, I'm going to scrape down the seeds. So now I have this tomato fillet, if you will, and I've gone from round to plank by cutting it in half, right? I'm going to go from plank to stick, even with a tomato. This isn't meant only for carrots and celery. And then from stick to cube. And there's the beginning of my salsa. I'm going to do that to an avocado. I'm going to do that to a green pepper. I'm going to do that to some onion and red onion. I'm going to use this from round to plank, from plank to stick, from stick to cube idea to always try and cut the most consistent items that I can, because consistency of cut is consistency of cook. Consistency of cut is consistency of look. Those are things that can now be an earworm for the rest of the day for you. It's one of the most important skills in the kitchen. Really, when you think about it, if you don't prep your items correctly, it really doesn't matter how good a cook you are, how good you are with the barbecue grill or how good you are in the saute, because you've set yourself up for disappointment by making things all different sizes. As a matter of fact, it's the first thing that we teach the new students in culinary school. It's one of the 5 skills that really are essential in all of cooking that we teach in culinary school, and that's actually the name of the class that's going on this weekend. I've just added more sessions of the most popular class I have ever done. Thousands of people have taken this class. I get hundreds and hundreds of emails about aha moments and mind-blowing ideas about cooking that they have never heard before, and they've never heard it before because home cooks are taught differently than tomorrow's professionals. So this is your opportunity to come into my culinary college lab and see what I'm teaching them there. It's the 5 skills taught in culinary school that are essential in all of cooking. And you can hold your spot in the class at a time that's convenient for you. All you got to do is go to webcookingclasses.com/skills, SKILLS, webcookingclasses.com/skills, and you'll see a lot more about these knife cuts. Plus, I attach all the fancy French names to them that the culinary students have to memorize. You don't have to memorize the fancy French names, but you will see all the cuts that they have to learn before they can graduate school. It'll at least help you with the consistency of your cooking. So go to webcookingclasses.com/skills and grab your spot in one of the next classes soon. I'm so glad we can grab just a few minutes together on a Saturday. I got to work on my stew, my salsa, my guacamole, all the stuff that's going to go through the week. Chef Todd Moore reminding you that there's a method to your great cooking success. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.